So in this video we will see about how to go for reading the numbers from the user using command line arguments. So let's say this is our second program, command 2. We have the public static void main string args. We will take the two integer variables, integer n1 comma n2. Okay, so by default whenever the arguments are read, it is in the form of strings. Okay, so now when we want to add the numbers, we have to convert into the integer format. So to convert the string variables into the integers, we are having integer dot parseInt. Okay, and the name of the argument, that is the arguments 0. So first argument we will pass, it will be in the form of string, that will be converted into the integer variable. Again the second argument will be read, it will be converted to the integer variable. So this is the second argument args1. Okay, after reading this second argument, we have to convert into the integer format. So we will write here integer dot parseInt. So this is my second arguments. So I will try to add these numbers inside the sum variable we will declare. Okay, so now we will try to print the sum of this variable. So we will save this program with the name command 2. So we will compile the program. We have to pass the arguments. When we are running the program, command 2 we will pass 2 and 3. These are the arguments we will pass. Okay, now you can see the sum of the argument is 5. So when we are running the arguments, we are passing the numeric values 2 and 3, but that is considered as the string arguments. So in this program we are trying to convert the string arguments into the numeric by using integer dot parseInt. So this is the first argument which is stored into the variable n. This is the second argument which is stored into the variable n2, and now we are adding these two variables and we are printing the sum of the arguments that is stored into the third variable, that is sum. Okay, is it that concept clear to you? Yes, Richard, how to add the two numbers using the string arguments? We can read the arguments, we can store it into the variables by converting into by using integer dot parseInt. So that was all about the command line arguments. You have to do the program using the different loops, while loop, do while loop, for loop. There is one more loop which is called as for each loop. All this you have done in C++. In the same way you can apply it in the Java also. Okay, so if you want to go for while loop, you can go for the factorial of the number. So in the same way, suppose if you want to implement this while loop, Okay, now you can see the factorial of the number is 120. So in this program we have seen how to find the factorial of a number using the command line arguments. So again we will have a brief look at the program, how to find the factorial of the program using the command line arguments. So we have taken the program class which is called as command tree. In the public static void main we are having the string arguments. We are declaring the variables integer I comma f equals to 1 n1. We are trying to read the arguments 0. We are storing it into the variable n by converting into integer format integer dot parseInt. We are using the while loop. Inside the while loop we are implementing the logic n1 greater than or equal to 1, f is equals to f star n1, and simultaneously decrementing the value of n1. So after the factorial is calculated and stored into the variable f, we are trying to print the factorial of that number by using system.out.println factorial of the number is plus f. So when we are trying to compile this program, so after compilation, when we are running the program, we will try to give the value. So okay, so when now we are running the program Java command tree, suppose we are giving the number as 4, so it will give the factorial of 4, that is 24. 4 3s are 12, 12 2s are 24, 24 1s are 1. So the factorial of 4 is 24. So this is a program we can use for finding the factorial of the number using the command line arguments. So in this loop, in this program we have seen how to use the while loop also. Similarly, as we have used the for loop in C, C++, similarly it is applicable for Java also. Only the implemented is the for each loop. So we will see the example of how to use the for each statement. So this is the for each loop in Java. Okay, so you have to write here for. Suppose if you are using one integer variable which is referring to the array I, so we can write here int I colon and the name of the array. So it will print the values of that variable, whichever it is referring to. So in our program, suppose if you are referring to an previous program like command 2, where we are reading the arrays, arguments of the arrays, we can use the for loop. We can declare the variable which will refer to that string arguments. So command 2 we will take. So here we can use the for each loop to print the arguments. So when we are using the for each, we will have to use such type of syntax. Suppose if we are just trying to refer to the names, suppose when we are trying to implement these names, okay, so this program we could have implemented in this manner. Okay, so the name of the argument is args. Now we'll use the string variable name to refer to args. Okay, so our string arguments is args. Using, we will have to refer that string again using the string variable name. We are referring to this array. So we'll print each and every element of the array. This is the normal for loop. Okay, so you can see we can print whatever the arguments are passed to it. Whatever we are referring to it is a string variable, therefore we are using the string array to refer to the string arguments. If it is an integer array, we'll have to use the integer I. If you want to print the same thing using the integer I variable, we can do that using integer I. So we can So using for each, if you are referring to string variable, you have to use the string variable itself. We can not apply the for loop as in case of normal for loop statements. So for each is used in statement to iterate over a collection, like we have the string collection. Similarly in Java there are different collection, like array list is there, then we have the stacks, we have the queues. These are the different collections. So collections is nothing but storing the different elements. When we want to iterate over them, we can use the for each loop. So you can see different collections like list. We can use the for each statement. For maps we can use, for sets we can use. As we have seen in the Python programming, set, it is nothing but a collection of elements which is given by the key and a value. Similarly in Java also it is available, sets. So this is again one topic which we have to see, lambda expression. First we have to see interface. So all these are related to for each statement. So you can see Java for each, it is used in Java 8. So when you go for the interview, you will have the questions regarding the JDK versions. So starting from JDK core JDK, that is 1 2 3 up to current version, it is 11, JDK 11 or 12, it is currently running JDK 17. So this for each was implemented in the JDK version which is called as Java 8. So we can use for each on list, maps and set collection. So you can see for each was introduced in Java 8. It provides programmer a new concise way of iterating over a collection. So this is the syntax. For each performs the given action less than super and the action. So consumer interface, it is a functional interface which is consisting of an abstract method which accepts a single input and returns the no results. So one interface is defined which is called as functional interface. The name of the interface is given as consumer. There is one function which is called as accept. So after defining the consumer interface, we can implement it into our current program by using this interface which is called as functional interface. So name of the interface is given as consumer. So we are trying to implement that in our program by using java.util.function.consumer. So one array is created which is called as list, collection of list. There are different items which are referred to it. So now we are using the for each items dot for each. New consumer means one definition for this consumer will be created with the function accept. So when we are using for each inside the interfaces which are called as consumer, we can implement that by using the for each statement. So this is some ways where we can access the elements of the collections like list, array list, sets, maps using the for each statements. There is one more which is called as lambda expression. So instead of using the functional interface, we can implement that by using the lambda expression also. So now suppose this is the list which is called as items. Different items are there like coins, pens, keys and shirts. So using the lambda expression, when we are referring to this string which is called as items, we are using items dot for each, which is referring to a string variable. We are writing a string name and we are using this directional statements. We are trying to print the name of these collections which is called as items. So lambda expression is given by this arrow mark. Okay. So lambda expression is used for replacing the functional interfaces. Instead of functional interfaces, we can use the lambda expression. So they are created with this symbol that is called as the directional symbols. So map, again we have seen it is a just like sets, we are having the collections, a name and a value. So for map also we can implement the for each statement items dot for each key comma value, k comma v. We can print both the variables, that is the string variable and the integer variable, by using percentages and percentage n. So in this way we can use the for each statement in Java collections like maps. We can use it in list, we can use it in dictionaries. Dictionaries are not there, sets, maps and list, we can use it. So this much only for today. So now I will take the attendance. So today we have seen about the command line arguments, how to use the command line arguments, and how to use the for loop, while loop, for each statement. Again we will see some more examples of the for each statements. Okay, now you can leave the meeting, try to practice these examples.